Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elsie. On this channel, I'm known as a cup of Elsie. Today, I have something very interesting for my women out there. I know that with the topic that we're about to discuss, a lot of women, especially mothers, people who have ever been pregnant, have gone through this before. In general, a lot of people, everybody goes through some sort of depression. Just like the series that we posted previously, this is also a series that we'll be going to be talking about on the channel. And today our topic is pre and postpartum depression. To help me discuss this is my guest, DebbieSmiles. And Debbie's going to introduce herself, let us know more about who she is, what she does, and then we'll delve right into pre and postpartum depression in women, what the causes are, why people shy away from it, and why people don't even talk about it at all. Why it's a taboo, especially in the African community, to talk about depression in general, or whether you have gone through pre or postpartum depression. So, welcome, Debbie. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hi, Elsie. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is DebbieSmiles. I am a midwife practicing in Ghana. I love to know and learn more about women. I love to provide quality services to the women who come to my facility. And so when Elsie reached out to me on this topic, I thought it's a very good one for us to discuss. So I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for not disappointing me and actually showing up and allowing yourself to, give out the knowledge that you have by virtue of your practice and experience as well. So, what is when we say prepartum depression? What really is prepartum, and how different is it from postpartum depression?
Okay, so I would like to go first into depression and then I'll bring the pre and postpartum. So, depression itself is a mood disorder which affects anybody at all. And then this is a consistent feeling of sadness, sometimes anxiety, and then loss of interest in something that one used to do. So, that is depression. It doesn't have a particular cause per se, but there are some predisposing factors. So, in the general context of depression, it could affect anybody, whether a woman or a man. It could affect kids as well. Also, certain lifestyle could predispose one to having a depressive disorder or get into a depressive mood, something like alcohol intake and smoking. Another thing that could cause depression or that could trigger a depressive mood is a loss of a loved one, a significant other, a breadwinner. These things could also lead to having one to suffer a depression. Sometimes to a loss of livelihood or out of nowhere, then your company calls and says that your job description has been laid down, so you go on a redundancy, and then you're asking yourself, how am I going to take care of my family? What am I going to do? What next? So those feelings, when they become persistent, okay, and it's affecting your daily life, it's letting you withdraw from what you used to do. So your regular friends that you used to hang out with, you're no more interested in all those things. So this is what we call depression. If this scenarios that I have given, I think that it's a good thing to feel depressed at one point or the other because we all have plans. And so, for example, I am in high school. I want to go into the tertiary, and then from nowhere, just at the time I'm writing my final exam, my caregiver or my support person passes on. And I am asking myself, where do I go from here? Who is going to help me? Who is going to pay for my bills? So it's a good thing to feel depressed when things don't go the way you want. However, if it's going to last for weeks and months and you're denying yourself of the good things that you used to do, and you don't want to talk to anybody, you're either overeating or undereating, you're not taking care of yourself well and all that, then we say that you're suffering from depression. And at this point, you need either therapy or medication. So back to your question on pre and postnatal. Prenatal depression is somebody who is pregnant and for any of these reasons is depressed. It could be an unwanted pregnancy. It could be carrying a baby with a deformity. It could be a loss of a loved one. Let's say your husband or your spouse passes on. It could be having suffered various forms of miscarriages. And so you are asking yourself if this baby could be carried up to term. And if you don't take care, you cry, you're anxious, you're losing yourself, you're asking yourself a lot of questions. And then to the extreme, people would want to harm themselves or harm this innocent baby. So that is the prenatal depression. When we come to postnatal depression or postpartum depression, this is the period after you've delivered, you have your baby, and for the first within the first weeks, between 6 to 8 weeks, you're feeling all down, you're crying, you're not interested in almost everything. Sometimes you don't even want to see your baby and all that. Then we can say that because you have been in this mood persistently, then you're suffering from postpartum depression. So prenatal depression is when you're carrying the baby and you're going through a depressive mood. And then the postpartum depression is when you have your baby and then you're going through a depressive mood. Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie, for giving insights into this. So I have a few questions. Can we link with all the examples that you've given? Can we link when somebody should ask for help, like cry out for help to, let's say, a medical professional, to the time of, or the how long the person is experiencing the depression for? So, for example, you did mention that it's not a bad thing to get depressed, but how consistently you are in it for. So, at what point does somebody have to know, oh, I've been in this mood for a very long time? And how do we know that that person even needs help? Can I just see somebody if they haven't told me that this is what they are going through, and they haven't told me how long they've gone through it for, to know that this person needs help, or even they themselves to know that they need help?
Okay. So one thing, the first step in healing or getting out of a situation is to ask for help. So as soon as you realize that I have been down, I don't seem interested, I'm not having the fun that I used to, I am unable to engage with people around me, I am unable to interact with people, I am withdrawn. I am either overeating or undereating. I have sleep pattern disturbances. I am either sleeping too much or I'm sleeping too little. At this point, you know that you need help, because when somebody is overeating, she knows very well that she's overeating. It's only that she can't stop herself. She doesn't know when to say stop, or I am full. I have had it to the full. Or when I am oversleeping, I don't know, then it means that I am letting go of certain things that I used to do during the day, whether I am missing out for work, whether my part as a woman in the family, I am denying, I am stopping, I have put a stop to the chores that I am doing, and so you see that by the close of the day, or upon assessment of what has gone on in the day, you realize that you've done too little than you should or you could have. At this point, you can ask for help. And there's one thing with depression: the person going through it might not come out to say that I need help. So it comes down to the people this person lives with. So I'm talking to husbands, spouses, I'm talking to children in the house, I'm talking to neighbors around, I'm talking to colleagues at the workplace. So you know that this person is a workaholic. She comes to work, she works so hard, and all of a sudden she's lost interest in providing all the services that this person could. Then if this person doesn't ask for help, it's our responsibility as people that is close to this person to bring out the discussion. Let's have a conversation. I think that you need help. And believe you me, depression is treatable. Yes. So anybody going through any of the depressive moods, know that you are not alone. You can do it by yourself, all by yourself. You need help. And this help has to come from anybody, whether in your close environment or in the external environment. Yeah.
So, mentioning help, how effective is the help? How what's the range? Is it long term, short term, and can anybody afford the help? You also mentioned something about how depression comes about. But I wanted to find out, has any research been hormones causing this, or is just something like, if it's a mood change, is it something that my hormones contribute to, or is it something that I'm just experiencing because I'm either pregnant or carrying the baby?
Okay, so with that, what happens with a prenatal both prenatal and postpartum depression has some sort of hormonal imbalances. So at some point when you're pregnant is estrogen and progesterone that is carrying you through, and then when you put to birth is prolactin, the hormone that is supposed to help you produce breast milk so that you can feed your baby. And so at the point that estrogen and progesterone levels are going down, and then prolactin is coming up, just on the swing like this, you could feel depressed. And that one, okay, so that brings me to a type of depression that is the baby blues. It starts in the first few days or the first week of having your baby after birth. This one lasts for just a week or two and you're fine. But with the postpartum depression itself, it could last for months. Okay, yeah. So hormonal factors also play a role in postpartum or prenatal depression. Yes.
What about the cost
So
involved?
the cost involved, I can quote how much it is, but asking for help is the first thing. It shouldn't cost you so much to ask for help. Opening up to somebody and say that, hey, I need help. I think I need help. Or somebody walking up to you to say that, hey, I think you need help shouldn't cost you a thing. However, the other therapies, whether you're scheduled to go for or referred to go for any of the therapies, there's this one therapy that is called the cognitive behavioral therapy. This one, we're helping you to, after identifying or analyzing the situation, to know what actually is the predisposing factor, then we can help you know a more positive way of handling the situation. Example, I lost my spouse when I was pregnant, and now I have my baby. I don't have anybody to take care of this baby. And so the reality is there. My spouse or the baby's father is not there. But out of this situation, what can I do? Because this baby has come, and I have every right to help this baby grow to become who the baby wants to be. And so, how do we do it? There could be, I will need financial assistance. Who am I calling on? I will need physical assistance, like relatives coming around to help me raise this baby. At some point, when I have to go to work and this baby is in the house, who to take care of? So, employing a nanny. So the money or the financial aspect that's involved in this, I can't quote, but you don't pay in a lump sum, you pay in bits, yes. And then there's medication to it too. So because we say that it's a mood disorder, or yes, we could give you antidepressants. That's one too. I don't know if wherever you're watching us from, if there's an insurance cover, then they could provide. Otherwise, then your caregivers would help you. I know that the first point of call is your immediate environment. I'm talking about the people that you live in your house with and in your neighborhood. Then the next point of call should be the nearest health facility. If they can't provide the services for you, they can refer you to a place that you can meet all the specialists that can help you come out of it. And I want to state again that any of the depressive moods is treatable. So you're not in this alone. Once you call for help, help will come your way. Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie, for sharing all these. It's very insightful because you being a midwife means that you've seen different people go through different phases of depression. And coming from an environment, I've lived in Ghana myself, coming from an environment where people don't really know how to dissociate certain like different moods. Like somebody can be depressed and they may act differently. And then being able to differentiate depression from a mental health disorder or something, how do you think, with the people you've treated or people that have confided in you so far, how do you think that how do you think society sees people that go through this mood changes or mood disorder? Because I know that we are quite judgmental when it comes to the parts of the world that we are from. People judge you when you say, "Oh, I'm going through this." They would assume the worst case scenario for you, and people will even dissociate themselves from you. So, how do you think our society is supposed to handle this, or supposed to, like, accept this condition?
I think that we've not said a lot about any of the depressive moods. I think that there's not been a lot of education. It's something that we don't actually talk about. Okay, so in Ghana here, what we do is when we are giving the maternal and child health record books to pregnant women, there's a column in history taking about the medical and surgical history of this client and the family history. There's a component that asks about the mother's mental illness or mental status, and all that you could find some of us ask is Mame Ajunumukaya Rebi Ewa also in our local dialect. And the answer has been no, forever no. And then you go on to ask about the family history. Do you have any family history of mental illness, whether epilepsy, whether any of the mood disorders? And the answer is no. I think that is about time that we had a questionnaire or like yes, if I should say, to break down to be selective about some of these disorders, because if somebody has had a previous history of any of these, whether prenatal or postnatal depression, this person stands the chance a 30% increase of having chance of getting it in the next pregnancy, unlike somebody who has not suffered it before. How do we know if this woman suffered it before? Because we're in a global world. Today I am here, tomorrow I'll be there. And so the caregiver who took care of me when I was pregnant with my first baby, it's not the same person who will be taking care of me for the next one. And so when it happens like that, it's up to me to open up. Even we ourselves, as people who have suffered any of these depressive disorders, don't want people to know because of the stigma attached to it. Telling this person will let her know that maybe I am not mentally sound, I am not cured, I could harm her and all that. But I tell you, we all have been depressed before. It's only that ours didn't last, or it wasn't persistent or consistent. It didn't affect any of our lifestyles as for a long time. That's how we are able to come out of it. So I think that going forward, we should talk more about it. Let people know that it's not a dead end. It's not a dead end to the case. There's always help. Once we ask for help, help will come. So, as practitioners, as midwives who are attending to all forms of women, let's know that any of these conditions, whether the baby blues affects like 75% of all postpartum women. Yes. So if we have like 10 people deliver in a month at your facility or 100 people deliver at your facility, then you know that close to 70, 75, close to that's quite a number that you can't say that you overlook it. I may have suffered it before, somebody may have suffered it before, but how did we come out of it? There are groups, which groups? Can we form groups so that people know that when I am in this, I'm not all alone? For people suffering prenatal depression, we have groups, such people have form a group, and then those people who have been able to come out of it, are they able to come, are they willing to even come and say that, oh, I suffer this condition, and through undergoing these therapies I'm free, I'm treated, I don't have the depression anymore? Other people like that, can we set up those groups? Okay, if not just for the pregnant women, how about those who have delivered? Because for the postpartum blues, you have 75% of them, and then 15% of the 75 people of these 75 mothers who suffer the the baby blues, could transition into the postpartum depression. And this is when people need not just the psychotherapy, but they need all some other forms of therapies, like I mentioned earlier, the cognitive behavioral therapy, and the medication. Antidepressants are there that we can give to you so that you can fit into the society just like you want. You can go back to the things that interest you before. Yeah.
all the information you're giving is it's very very good, and I'm sure the listeners would, and everybody in general, any woman listening to this, I'll put Debbie's handle and everything also in the description, and then you'll be able to reach out. We'll keep going on with this series. You did however mention something about the health system categorizing everything under one ballpark of have you ever had a history of a mental health disorder in your family? Do you think that intrinsically the healthcare system is also the problem? I'm just trying to find out how the healthcare system can categorize well, I don't want to use the word a problem, how they can, because sometimes the words we also use will cause other people to not want to seek help, right? Because it's not a problem in itself, it's just a condition, right? So when you say the healthcare system somewhat has made this condition, people with this condition shy away from even seeking help. And how can the healthcare system, you did mention changing the wording of, have you ever had a mental health like a mental health disorder, that changing that and categorizing it so people can choose which section they fall under. What other things do you think that we can do differently? Could it be like creating awareness on the television instead of all these other things that we show that do not adequately educate the public? Because as human beings who walk the surface of the earth, it's a woman that birthed us, and so more education on things about women is also important. And so, what other things do you think that the healthcare system or the national health I don't know what they are called, but the national health system can focus on to improve some of these things to make the patient comfortable enough to want to share any problem that they may have?
I think that we are in a world where most people are using smartphones. And so, just like when you go online to search for something and there's a commercial, let's say 15 seconds, 20 seconds, we could have some skits and then put them out there so that I am not I am not necessarily online to look for a topic like postpartum depression, but I chanced on it because it's a commercial that's on it, and so I listened to it. Then I can ask more. I just saw a short skit, let's say a 15 seconds skit, an example: postpartum or prepartum prenatal depression is treatable. Just this phrase. Then this person could go back and think about it. What did she even mean by pre or postpartum depression? What happens if I then you can find out online. We could also have commercials on TV, on most of the television platforms or radio stations, so that we talk about them like we do for the regular whether electrical gadgets, commercials, and all those things. We could also add a bit of skit. I remember some time ago we were doing. I remember this commercial growing up. It was about eradicating malaria. So stagnant waters and cancer powder. Yes, and then
I
we,
remember
we
that.
didn't know. We didn't even know.
I
Yes,
remember
we
that.
didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't know what I did. I even know what stagnant water was. Did I even know? But I yes. So it gives you an insight into whatever is going on around you, and then you would want to know about it. Okay, so when we're moving from the old currency into the new one, there were songs that were played. So a nation, and then you know that so this is something about my country. So can we also in the entertainment industry, people in the media groups, can they also bring out some sort of music and something to, because if you're putting them all in on sheets of papers, most of us wouldn't want to read. But if we are hearing it on the radio, if we are seeing it on our screens, if we are seeing it anytime we go online to search for something, then we will all get ourselves informed. Then we can know when and where to seek for help. So yes, we all have not played our best part as health workers. We have not played our part so well. I'm saying we have not played it so well because we are not asking more about the things. All we ask is, do you have any mental illness? How many people know that postpartum or prepartum depression is a mental illness? How many people know that baby blues is something like that? And it could go off around this time. And so if I have this and it's persistent and it's affecting my mood, I have lost interest in almost everything. Um, that kind of thing. So I have a part to play. You also have a part to play, and you watching us, you also have a part to play. Let's all come together. Let's create more awareness so that everybody knows what to do at what point in time.
Thank you, Debbie. And my last question will probably, or two questions before we wrap it up, would be, does this in any way affect the baby when they are born?
Yes. Okay. So this baby, let me come from the prenatal depression. So I'm citing examples because I see a number of women. So client A comes and then she's had let's say 6 miscarriages, and this is the seventh pregnancy. And she's thinking, would this one also go down the drain, or would it? So she's withdrawn. She's not interested in anything. She's keeping her antenatal schedules. This will surely affect your baby because you're supposed to come for assessment. We're checking not just we're not just asking how you're feeling, but we're checking your blood pressure. So a high blood pressure, would it affect my baby in there? And when I have glucose in my blood, elevated glucose levels in my blood, would it affect my baby? If I don't have enough hemoglobin or my HB levels is low, anemia could lead to. So it's not just the depression that is causing the harm to the baby, but the associated factors, like I've mentioned. You are not taking your prenatal vitamins because you're not interested in this baby, you don't want it. Or this could be like, I'm carrying my 11th baby, I've had 10, I am unable to even take care of them. My husband doesn't want any more babies. He thinks that I am the baby making machine, and I have gotten myself pregnant, and so she's left all the kids on me, gone somewhere. So I hate this baby. Psychologically, I'm not giving this baby all the love, all the care that this baby needs. So in that, this baby feels I'm not wanted. So believe, trust me, when this baby comes out, it's going to be it will continue because this man has left this woman. And if not for any proper intervention for this man to come, or for this woman to be engaged in any employable skills to be able to raise her 10 and then this very one, then she could go into the postpartum depression. And of course, this baby needs breast milk. I am depressed. I don't want this baby. You are in my space. You are the reason my husband left me. And so I wouldn't even breastfeed this baby. And so this baby's growth, if the birth weight was, let's say, the normal between 3.2.5 upwards, this baby's growth keeps going down. So this baby, so yes, it has a both physical and psychological effect on the babies. I tell my clients who come to me that if you're a happy pregnant woman, you will have a happy baby. And it's true. If you're happy, if you're embracing this pregnancy, you do everything, you go all out. Even if we say that you should go for an investigation outside of the country, you go because this baby is precious to you, because you want the baby. But if I don't want the baby, I am depressed and all that, anything can happen to this baby. So yes, and the people who are depressed and they are still taking alcohol, and those things could lead this baby into having what we call fetal alcoholic syndrome. And then this baby comes out, the head is just long, has weird features, and that baby goes to school and kids are laughing at him, not knowing. You see, kids are always kids. They will make fun of even the serious things that goes on in people's lives, and you end up having a baby who is all unhappy, all withdrawn. And so let's just look around when we go to parks that we see kids around. Let's just see those people who are just withdrawn. Their mothers may have suffered any of these depressive moods, and it's transcended onto their kids. So yes, it affects our baby.
Thank you so much, Debbie. This has been very, 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 very insightful. My takeaways from this talk or this conversation, and like I said, we'll keep talking about this, is what I'm taking from this is everybody experiences depression. Everybody needs support when going through any form of depression, but really focusing or delving into prenatal and postpartum depression, it boils down to support from your immediate family. So for somebody who is married or not married, the people that you got pregnant with, they really being with you and supporting you through that period, or even if it's not support, but just noticing when there's a mood change or there's just a change in the things that you used to like and really addressing it. Um, I think I was watching a video when somebody said that just taking somebody on a walk, could
Mhm.
you have taken them from, if they like to just stay in the room and you take them out for a walk, you've taken out them from one zone that they were getting too comfortable in and was causing them to be depressed, to get fresh air and see the new things that's happening. So what I'm taking away is ensure that you have support, ensure that you're able to speak out when you're going through any form of depression. And I'm so glad that you shared all these experiences and highlighted the important parts that everybody needs to know. Do you have any final words for our listeners before we let you go?
My final words to all of us out there is that everybody needs somebody, somehow, sometime, anywhere. Just know this, that everybody, I need somebody at some point in my life, somehow, somewhere. And so you also need help. Ask for this help, and then the help will come your way. My name has always been DebbieSmiles, and I must say that I have also enjoyed this session, and I have also learned my bit too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. And if you watched this video, kindly like, share, subscribe, and do well to follow Debbie's handle. And all her information will be in the description box below. Please follow her, ask questions. We'll bring Debbie back, and as we go on this series and bring more people to speak on different types of depression and mental health illness, we'll have a meeting with everybody that has talked so far. So you definitely be seeing Debbie again and again and again on anything that's health related. We're going to bring Debbie in, and then she'll talk about it. So thank you, Debbie, and thank you all for watching. We'll catch you again in another video. Bye.